All right, we are back for day 34 of raising funds for world domination. That was fast. Did you hear about the new DeepSeek? I have not. Is that the video generation software? I have seen some of the recent news in the last few days of the amazing image generation they have. Interesting. There's an icon I haven't seen before by her name, that crown with the number 1 on it. And I'm not sure what that means. Anyway, continuing with my intro. So in case you didn't see, the last couple streams, May 26th was my first actual N13 L2 merits fiction hearing. So the conclusion from that was the hearings are not finished, so we were about to hear another witness, and we ran out of time. So the current conclusion is there will almost certainly be at least one more hearing. When it will be, I am still waiting to find out, and maybe towards the end of June at the earliest, or possibly later. Other than that, I'm going to continue working where I left off. Well, actually, last night I quit a bit into debugging an alignment bug, and then this morning when I got up, I fixed that. There was actually a couple issues combining there, and otherwise today I had to do some accounting stuff and file some things. And I realized today it's almost time to do business taxes. I got to do year-end taxes, so that's another thing on top of that. And then, in addition, we'll continue on with the world domination plans. And yeah, I think I'm fairly prepared to avoid the eviction for now. So there hopefully won't be too much work on that, but there will be a new hearing at some point in the near future. I've never seen this crown thing before. Yeah. Hello, I just won a game of League of Legends and I have no friends to tell. So I'm telling you. Well, congratulations. I'm very, very happy for you. Then you won. Is this the first game of League of Legends that you won? Or is I don't play League of Legends. That game's been around for a while, hasn't it? I haven't. Oh, interesting. I don't know what that crown thing is. Up in the top, in the corner over here on the chat, I noticed that it's got that icon for community. So I don't know what that means. Your first comment down here doesn't have the crown, but then the second one has a number 2 on it. Here's the number 2 chatter. I don't know what that means. I never played LOL, but I watched the first season of the Netflix show. Is there a Netflix show about? I thought League of Legends was a game. That I guess I've heard that people get addicted to that game. We got an influx of noobs from the show. It's funny because the game is nothing like the show. Interesting. I'm very out of the loop. I don't play League of Legends. I don't watch any Netflix at all. Hello there. I have a question. Is getting my CCNA is a waste of time as a dev? CCNA, I guess, must be a certification of some kind. So I'm not familiar with it. Now, people ask me about certifications a few times before, and the advice I give. So certifications, I've never really thought much about getting them myself. But in my opinion, so there's some certifications that are probably totally useless. So things like some, it depends like what authority is giving it. So for example, if you go to work in like a warehouse or something, they may say you need to have a WMIS symbol, certificate or something, just something so that the manager can check a checkbox, say like, yes, this person knows what an explosion symbol, hazardous, explosive, this just means oxidizing, this means whatever. And it's not necessarily like a sophisticated thing, but it's just like a bunch of kind of rote memorization and knowledge that you necessarily need to have. So it's about checkboxes and compliance rather than necessarily like the most elite form of knowledge, or like, if you're getting like I'm sure like a compressed, if you're a plumber or something, getting, some certificate or something that says you can work with compressed gas like propane or something like that, it's probably not that difficult, but it's about first aid certificates or something. So that's kind of how I would think about whether certificates or these like kind of mini certifications are useful or not, as opposed to whether they necessarily like teach you the most elite knowledge. So if employers are asking for it, then it's useful because then it's probably just a compliance thing. But if it's something like a random certificate from like Udemy or like some random YouTubers selling their own custom certification, or like LinkedIn's certification, that it's probably it's worth the knowledge, but no one's going to recognize it. Don't really care. I don't play online games. Mainly play older games and indie ones now. I gave up all games except for League. I just program and play LOL now. Well, at least you have some balance, I guess. It is for network engineering. It's like a checklist, but it teaches me so much about security, and it's mostly hands-on. I'd say I think like some, like for example, a WMIS symbol certification, you could learn WMIS symbols in like a day if you need to. So it's not sophisticated knowledge. Some certifications may actually be sophisticated knowledge, but I'd say the ultimate thing is like for example, if a government offices are requiring it, a lot of governments require like I said, not necessarily sophisticated knowledge, but like standardized knowledge, because that's one of the, I think, the underappreciated aspects of getting a job or working with others. It's about like communicating in a standardized language, not necessarily the most sophisticated language. It took me 8 months. Yeah, I think I may have seen that acronym before, but again, I'm not knowledgeable on certifications. I know for sure in government, governments love the certification stuff, but I think like at most of the places I worked, like when I was at an NVIDIA or Amazon or all the co-ops that I did, certifications was not even on their radar at all. Not even on their radar at all. People are really addicted to these online games. I heard the biggest one was World of Warcraft. But I don't know if Fortnite surpasses that. I played World of Warcraft starting the day it came out back in, I think it was November 23rd, 2004. Game Dev Chad says, hey, how's it going? Played lots of WoW and LOL in the past. Yeah, I never... I've only heard of League of Legends. But for now, I try to avoid playing games. What is this leaderboard? I have no idea. That's new. So it looks like it's giving people numbers based on when they joined. So it added a number 1, number 2 to the order of people that showed up, but okay, yeah. So that doesn't match the pattern. So it looks like it was assigning the numbers based on when they joined, but it seems like after a couple messages, it'll put one of those crowns by you and put a number by you. I have no idea what it means. You ranked up. Congratulations. Okay, so last night I fixed the alignment issue, or this morning actually I fixed the alignment issue with the menu. So I'll continue on with some work to make it possible to move the splits around. Do you think learning algorithms and leak code will pay off, or should I focus more on building stuff? That's a good question. I guess it depends what you want to achieve. It depends what you want to achieve and what career path you're going for. Honestly, I've been out of the job market for so long. I do some Googling about it. Back when I was, doing interviews and stuff, the main thing was practicing algorithms and stuff. So I've never used LeetCode before, but LeetCode is kind of like after my time. I don't think it existed back when I was cramming for interviews and stuff. So we would just use Wikipedia and stuff to memorize merge sort, time complexity, and all that stuff. I'm probably if you do want to go for, say, my intuition would be, if you want to go for Google, Amazon, Microsoft, whatever, grinding LeetCode to learn all the algorithms and stuff, probably still is relevant for the interviews, because back 10, 15 years ago when I was doing this, that's what was relevant back then. But I don't know if that's still how people do whiteboard interviews. Things have changed so much now. I know there's a lot of it's not like some companies do give you AI interviews and stuff. So you've got to you have to submit a video and some AI will grade it, and it's I think it's awful. It's an awful experience. So I don't know. I don't know what the on the ground reality is of it now. For DevOps, I would say, it depends on the interview. So technically, when I interviewed at Amazon, I did the algorithms questions. They asked me a couple questions about they're relatively easy, but something about finding duplicates in a list and some linked list stuff. So it was algorithms questions that would have been relevant for LeetCode. But then some of the stuff I did, and some of the people I work with were doing DevOps stuff. So I would say for DevOps, probably actually a lot of the stuff it's probably not, if you I guess it would be 2 hours, or you could probably put it on 2x speed. Watch my playlist of all my Linux command shorts of core utils. So knowing how to program shell scripts and debug stuff like job control commands, shell built-ins, those kinds of things. Knowing about that stuff for DevOps, I think, would be extremely relevant. So that's quite different from algorithms, but understanding a file permissions and stuff, and directory permissions, and chmod, and security systems and stuff. And can I be DevOps without having a dev experience? I think it's possible. You'd have to have you could. Well, it depends. If you have experience getting stuff to run. Actually, if you wanted to practice some stuff, probably a good thing to know about would be you could check out the Linux from Scratch project and just pick some random packages and just try to compile them from source and stuff. Or even you don't even need Linux from scratch. Just find some random the GNU project and try to build some stuff from source, and understanding how to do that, the make files and stuff. Because I think if you're doing DevOps, you're probably going to be doing a lot of system integration work. So and then other stuff like understanding the security context. So if you're running on systems that have SE Linux, the commands to run containers and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff there that you can learn about, and then I guess you can figure out what kind of container and deployment systems are used by the company you're probably going to work for. And obviously that knowledge is That's a bit more practical knowledge. That's not quite like, learning, memorizing merge sort and stuff is probably not, it's not going to help you with that stuff at all. Knowing that you have to like specify a certain flag, or knowing how to like fix a makefile, or environment variables and all that kind of stuff. And that's also assuming you're doing Linux. If you're pursuing the Windows market, then it's beyond my knowledge. I never had a job. I just did an interview for a sales company last year, but I never had any intention of joining. Just wanted to challenge myself, and I failed. But it doesn't matter in this case. I just did an interview for a sales company last year, but I never had an intention of joining. Well, you said you failed, but if your goal was just to get experience, then that's not quite failure. Yeah, I mean, anything you can do to get more experience interviewing is good. IDK, if I mentioned it here, but MathWorks is under ransomware attack. Most of their services are down. MathWorks. That's unfortunate. I have some good infra that is running, and I do automation for some prod servers. Okay, so you have some experience in that kind of stuff. Yeah, just knowing more about that stuff. There's like there's a million things you could know. Some DevOps is like understanding at a high level how to start and stop a lot of different services. There's like databases and web servers and config files. And I have the crown now. I still don't know what that means. I'll have to look that up after. I use Arch, by the way. It's my second year using it. Yeah, if you want to learn DevOps, I think probably people ask like about the reason for specific distributions, and I think if you're learning DevOps, using Arch, forcing yourself to use Arch, is probably not a bad idea. I graduated college 2 years ago. Not really doing anything at the moment. Just trying to get my driver's license. See what I can do. Maybe volunteer someone for now. What's your background in? Make sure I have a good excuse for a gap, because a lot of companies ask about the gap. Kind of scummy. A lot of them ask for the gap. If gap in negative connotation. Yeah, I guess I don't have any input on that. I haven't been on the regular grind for regular 9 to 5 for a long time now, and I'm sure it's changed so much now. Ooh, federal court in USA just declared Orange Man's tariffs illegal, put in place permanent injunction. Tariff stupidity is ended, but will it? Maybe there can be more stupidity. And then they can illegally ignore the illegal order or appeal it. There's always all kinds of fighting things in court. I think the crown has to do with how much someone is active in the live chat. Okay. Huh. I think I'll say I use Arch, by the way. I will get a minus in software skills. I mean, an interview, I don't know. I think you might get a minus on social you said soft skills. Yeah, you get a minus in soft skills, but then if the some of the interview process is also like it's like a friendship, dating matching process. So if you you can do the safest, most reserved thing possible. You can be like boring and generic, but if you're if you go to an interview with like a fedora on and you tip it and say like I use Arch, by the way, and the person who's interviewing you actually like has that sense of humor, then that'll really help you. But if the person you're interviewing does not have that sense of humor at all, then that'll really, really hurt you. So it depends. It's if you can research who is interviewing you, then knowing that in advance will help you out. There'll be more stupidity for sure, but not of the tariff variety. Spent 3 hours today fixing Wi-Fi on a Raspberry Pi, and I gave up. For me, it's mostly just worked. What do you think about all the talk of Canada becoming the 51st state? I think it's my guess says it's just a like strategic thing to get Canada to fix itself up. Like we haven't been meeting our NATO target for years and years. Every time we're like, don't worry, this year we will meet our 2% NATO target, and then we don't, and we just keep doing that over and over again. I don't really even think it makes sense for them to take over the country, because like the U.S. already has so much control over us anyway. If they want, like they already do, anytime there's a profitable company here, they just like buy it. And I mean, we already sell them all of our energy. We only have like one pipeline across the country, and it goes through the United States. So, I don't know, we've kind of never been super serious about sovereignty in the first place. Running Acai Linux on MacBook these days. Oh yeah, that's the impressive one with all the fixes and supports for the video graphics. But actually, I extrovert in real life, so I may do it, and I hope they are not the HR. Yeah, you can probably do some research to figure out like who is likely to be interviewing you. Sometimes the first interview, they'll call it an interview. I've had ones where the first interview, they say it's an interview, but it's actually like a 10-minute call with an HR person to basically just say like, okay, are you legally authorized to work in this country? Are you interested in the position? What is your general availability? Kind of collect some information. And then the second one will be a real interview, but it'll depend. Sometimes it's just straight into the actual like engineer. And oftentimes I've been interviewed by the engineer who interviews me has nothing to do with the team that I end up on. Like when I started at Amazon, when I first met my manager, he's like, I have never seen your resume, and I have no idea what your capabilities are. They just like said, here's an intern. You're just like a commodity. That's why they call it human resources, because you're basically a resource, like a barrel of oil or something like that. You're just like a device to have work extracted from you. Admin will appeal, and it's only for some tariffs. More volatility coming. Yeah, I think we're in for lots of volatility in the world, and like the bond market right now is apparently going crazy, which is like a bit much bigger of a thing than the tariffs. Acai is such a beast project. Yeah, I watched some of the live streams of development of that, and that was it's beyond my knowledge of how to do that stuff. What's up, Legend? How do I become rich? I'm working on it myself. Once I get rich myself, I'll make a video on it, and I'll send it out to you. Switch to Codeberg. It's pretty cool. I highly suggest anyone who's sick of GitHub. It's a better tool for migrating from GitHub compared to GitLab. Thank you for your time. You really helped me. No worries. You got the NVIDIA options right? Nope. I rejected my NVIDIA offer. If I'd stayed there and taken all my options, I'd be a millionaire by now. Only Robert coin is rock stable. Hurry and buy now, before they're all gone. Yeah, I need to. There's so many things I want to do, but everything takes too much time. I want to get this next version of my block mining game out. There's so many real world. So much of my life has been doing things that are so not productive, like avoid like the research and stuff to avoid getting evicted. And then I realized I got to do my taxes, so I got to like go through all my receipts and stuff for the last year and compile that for the accountant, and then pay the accountant a whole bunch of money. I mean the call options today. Oh yeah, I forgot you suggested an options trade yesterday. I don't even have money to put into the trade, so it's a moot point anyway. What was the result? Would I have made money on your advice? I'm not sure if trading based on comments from a live stream chat is necessarily the most wise decision, but wasn't advice, but why yes. I guess I missed out. If only if only I was rich and I had money, then I could invest money and make more money. How is it that it seems like YouTube is full of young e-commerce millionaires that are 18, 25? How is this possible? Some of it is like the fake it till you make it thing. Some of them, I know there's one category, like I think it's multiple categories. One is like people who were kind of like independently wealthy from something else, and then they're like, how do I make more money? So they just kind of fake things. And even I was watching a video recently. I think Grant Cardone or something. He's like one of these, influencer millionaire type people. And apparently his wife was posting all these things about being rich and like having money and stuff, and like her stuff was like totally fake. And I can't remember all the details, but you can Google the or search for a video of it, and they just like all of it was a total basically hoax. And he's one of the ones who's more convincing. Like he goes on to like mainstream TV as a guest all the time and gives them like advice about real estate investing advice and so forth. And look at tech futures. There's been a jump on the tariff injunction. Also, for every success you see in videos, there are 100 you don't. 100 failures. But you do see my video. My video was pretty successful on how to become broke. Grant Cardone, he's like I don't really watch him, but I know of him tangentially from other people. He's one of these influencers who like he has fast car, and post his whole identity is like posting stuff on Instagram and giving out investment advice. But the whole thing is based on like, I don't know. I think he's another one like Ty Lopez, who like actually did kind of become a millionaire by like selling self-help stuff. Grant Cardone is actually very, very rich, but a lot of these 18-year-old driving Lambos, maybe a bunch of BS. Actually, I don't know about him. I think he may have a decent amount of, but I think it was his wife or girlfriend or like a woman he was with. And there was some recent stuff that came out about like she was basically faking like her entire financial empire. She was like, she has all these Instagram posts about how she's wealthy and has made it, and like it was just the total facade. There was a YouTube video about it. I'm sure if you search for it, I think it's some kind of legal fallout going on with her. I don't follow these people. I just saw a video about it and I was like, I thought that was one of these people I thought probably would actually have a little bit of success. But if even these people are kind of faking it, then most likely a lot of them are. Some of them, there's also people kind of lie by omission, where like you could say the easiest way to actually make $1 million in sales is to spend like $2 million in advertising and development. So you can have high revenue if you raise a bunch of money, especially, or you start with money. If your like parents are rich or something, you can have hundreds of thousands of dollars of revenue immediately. But if you're not cash flow positive, if you're not actually making money, and now I guess with the influencer economy, you can even you can start a business like a t-shirt business where you spend $1 million a year on the t-shirt business of operating it, advertising it, and all that kind of stuff, and then you make $900,000 in revenue from the t-shirts and operating the business. So you're like negative $100,000 a year, but then you sell courses on how to get rich selling t-shirts. You sell those courses for something, and then you make like $200,000 a year on that, and now you're cash flow positive, and you have and all the money losing business you have is basically the advertisement for your course. The difference between revenue profit and like operating margins, that's a very significant thing to look at. All right. So basically, there's lots of money to be made in courses. That can be it, but it's also even for a failing business, like even you may have even like someone may have run one of these businesses successfully in the past. Like you can, as long as you get the numbers high, especially if you get the numbers high, even if you have very thin margins, you can still make money. So if you could be spending $1 million a year on your t-shirt business, and if you bring in like 1.06 million per year, now you've got 60,000 in profit, and like you can live on that, and that like those are very thin margins, and so you may operate in a business like that where you're making what is that, 6% margins. You could run that, maybe you run that business for 10 years or something, and then the business world changes, and now you start becoming not profitable because you're not competitive enough for outsourcing or whatever. and now you've got like 10 years of history. So now you're like, well, the new thing is teaching people how to do this. So then you like start making a course, and then the course makes 100,000, and so now you just tripled your profit by only making an additional 100,000 because your margins are already so small. So in a way, it's like, and they're not lying because it's like it's based on real experience, and then it's just like an upsell. And then maybe because of it's also like another marketing thing, because maybe some people are so interested in it, they buy some of the t-shirts. I got a bug. CD is my favorite Linux command. But the problem with that way of making money, even with razor thin margins, is coming up with 1 million. Yeah, I mean, it could have been like for some of these people, like not everyone is starting yesterday. Some of them they may have had like they may have inherited their parents' business or something, and then maybe when the parent ran the business, it was 50% margins, and that's how they grew it up to $1 million. When they started in like 1940 something, and then they grew it up to $1 million, and then the son inherited it, and then the margins slowly go down and down and down, and then it's now it's becoming unprofitable. And what are these streams about? Should I be worried? Not yet. So for I've had a bunch of distractions, so I've been live streaming every day for a while, because it brings in a little bit of revenue, and it's also an opportunity to work on the block mining simulation game. I forgot to go on here, and yeah, I'm kind of between bigger projects at the moment. So the daily streaming has just been a thing to fill in the time. Don't be worried, Robert will fix all our problems. Yep, that's true. Is YouTube what you're doing full time? Yep, yeah, basically. Now the last week or so, I've been distracted getting ready for the hearing, but technically I also have just a regular traditional business, so I also still have to file corporate income tax in the next month. So I have to, the next distraction is I'm going to be working on getting my taxes compiled so that I can then pay $2,000 to my accountant to get my taxes done. Would you recommend to others to do YouTube full time? All that code looks very confusing. I would say if you, I would say you can like try making some videos, like part time or with no schedule or whatever. And if you, because most of the time spent doing YouTube, I mean, at least to get to where I am It was a lot of recording and video and editing and stuff. And actually, it just came up on my channel. It said it's the 6th year anniversary of my channel, which sounds kind of crazy. It's amazing. It's I don't know, depressing how fast time goes. But yeah, so six years to get to 100,000. Right now, revenue is down substantially because it's I haven't been publishing as many long form videos, and it's also summer. So this month I'm probably going to be at like $1,700 or $1,800 Canadian in revenue for YouTube. Most of that is coming from older videos. The daily live streaming, that's just a recent thing. I think YouTube used to pay $1K per 100K views. Yeah, it depends on the video. There's also with streaming. Well, I was getting like the first time when I first started this, during days 1 to 10, I was actually getting a few channel members every few days. It's kind of weird. It almost seems like the way my revenue works is my revenue is like determined first, and then it's like YouTube finds someone to either like become a channel member, or like when people unsubscribe as channel members, it seems like the next day YouTube will just find someone who just becomes a channel member, so it like replaces the ones that leave. But then if I put out a whole bunch of new content, it seems like there's really the revenue won't go up if I put out a bunch of content, but it will kind of like slowly go up in the long term. So it seems like there's a real like smoothing effect going on. It's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of strange that way. But yeah, I would say like if I definitely wouldn't not say start streaming with 0 subscribers. I think that would probably almost certainly not, you'd just be streaming to no one and wasting time. I can't remember how many subscribers I had when I did my first stream, but I think I had like almost 100,000 or something. So, and I think I had like 40 people the first live stream. So starting at that point, so you actually have something to talk about and people to chat with. Because if you're just streaming 10 hours a day to like 0 people and trying to like narrate your thoughts, it's probably not too interesting and probably not going to produce any revenue. I also think streaming makes sense as like if you already have an existing audience, and by that I mean like people filtered around something. Like if I did like construction or something, every one of my audience would be about like construction and framing. They'd be like asking about details of that stuff. And so then if I wanted to upsell, like if I wanted to sell, like for example, if I, let's say I had a book on interview tips, like my top 10 interview tips to definitely get hired or something. If I just said to people, hey, I'm selling this right now. There's only 11 concurrent viewers here, but those 11 concurrent viewers here, at least, a couple, maybe 2 of those 11 would actually be interested in that. Whereas if you don't have a very select filtered audience for something, if you're just streaming to like random people who stumble into your stream, the probability that you're going to make a sale on that is extremely low. But if you already have a really like engaged audience who've been watching all your videos and they're like, okay, I like the way the guy speaks and stuff like that, then that's the way to go. But I would say most people who would try making videos will quit very quickly because they're just like, they would come to the conclusion that they could do it, but they're like, I do not want to do this because and a lot of people are shy too. Like they'll put a video, like people come in and say like, hey, did you know that you're bald? Or like you've got male pattern baldness or something like that, and then they'll be like, oh man, I'm depressed about that, and then they'll delete their video and run away and stuff like that. So if you're someone who likes privacy, or you don't respond to public criticism well, then it's also probably not good. bit more complicated than that, like how much advertisement friendly you are. Yeah, it's also, it can even be different for individual video, even on the same channel. Streaming full-time is another way to make a living via Twitch and YouTube. Yeah, I know Twitch exists. I haven't, I'm not yet committed to, live streaming as a career, but I don't know, like if it makes a lot of money, then, and I can continue doing the things that I'm doing as an independent business, then, maybe that is where the growth is. But yeah, I think it's, I don't know, I'm collecting data to see what the effect is. I don't know if I could be entertaining enough to do full-time streaming. If I got subscribers, the pressure of having to keep being creative will be tough. Yeah, it is. I'm on day 34 now, and it is even kind of almost thought like, man, it'd be nice to have it'd be nice to just not do anything for a little while. And like the other day, I was super tired, and but to keep up my goal of doing so every day, it's a lot of work. It's just some days you're not in a great mood for it. Hi, bro. How do I get big on Twitch? From what I understand, the way growth on Twitch is extremely difficult these days. I think it makes sense to probably become known for something, like make a lot of content on YouTube, and that's the better place to achieve growth. And then once you, like I set up a Twitch profile, and I think I've already got 40 Twitch followers or something, and I just have my bio is just like, I don't stream, but maybe one day, ? And there's nothing else there. So if I ever do stream on Twitch, then I should have at least a couple people in the audience. And it's also, I'm sure Twitch's algorithm probably is paying attention to the demographic of person that checks my Twitch profile. So people clicking through to my profile, it'll probably be like, oh, okay, on day one, it's going to know for sure. Well, if they're using all the metrics right, they're going to know for sure that people who look at my profile are interested in computer programming and stuff. So it'll filter down the audience from day one a lot. Maybe you never know. Although once you become a public figure, you lose privacy. I don't know. It's definitely very strange behavior. What do you mean specifically? Strange behavior, like putting yourself out there publicly? Was your response to what I said? Okay. Like once you become well-known, public, bother you too much, you should mind their own business more. For whatever reason, you get bombarded with attention. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have 100,000 subscribers, and I haven't had anything too crazy yet. I get a lot more spam. I do get some people message me, and they'll be like, yo, bro, I have a business deal for you. We need to talk really quickly or something. where people like send me like a very vague emails from like private Instagram accounts or something that have no profile picture, and there's like no information on like who it is, just an anonymous account with like two followers or something. And then I don't know, I almost wondered, like, is it a bot or something, or attention is money. Yeah, I guess it can be. No privacy. It's not free. If you ever got recognized in public, honestly, in the last like year since the channel has kind of blown up, I haven't really gone anywhere or done anything. I've just been working all the time, trying to like still keep my head above water, because I'm not super rich yet. The YouTube revenue's gone down quite a bit. We're down below 2,000 a month, and I gotta keep working to get that up. And working on fighting the rent eviction stuff, that's taking so much time. And once you become rich, what are you going to do with all that money? Buy a Ferrari? I don't think I'll buy a Ferrari anytime soon. There's so many things I could do with money if I had some of it. Like everything, like buying a house now is like millions of dollars. Like a basic garbage house here is well, this guy has a series of like is it a European castle? European castles that are cheaper than Canadian houses. And there's tons of places here that are like absolute dumps that have like fire damage in them stuff that are selling for, $2 million, where you can buy a castle in Italy or Spain or something for $1 million. He will save Earth. Well, I gotta get that whole deepwater port constructed up in Axel Heiberg. That'll be step one. Is it better being single or having a GF? Homes on the bridle path. Homes on the bridle path are 10 million plus crazy. Bridle path. I'm not sure what that means. Bridle homes on the bridle path, 10 million. That's a lot. You could buy Casa Loma. Yep, once I get that nice big $10 million super chat. Drake lives in it. Well, once I'm as rich as him, I'll have a place just like that. What's your biggest super chat so far? I think it was someone on my live streaming until I gain 1,024 was I think it was $200 someone sent on that one. Yeah, that was a big one. It came out of nowhere. Was not expecting it. That's why, like I said before, when it seems like the revenue is down a bit, like that day, my views were down a lot, and then I was like, revenue's going to be way down today because revenue was also low the previous day, and it's almost like in YouTube's algorithm, YouTube just like it seems to go out and like find, like it just artificially props up your videos or something. It's almost like it's trying to compensate and it's like smooth out your revenue, I think. Being single is easier, more peaceful than having a girlfriend. But in this society, people think it's better to have a girlfriend. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I read a lot of propaganda about that lately. People saying we shouldn't have children. Don't get married. It's a trap. Isn't Gen Z mostly single? Most lonely? IG? Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. I mean, the fact that people can't afford to live anywhere, the fact that people have to work all the time. I've been trying to get some days to just like go out and just like relax and chill at the cafe, but every single day I'm working on something. Costs a ton of money to have a child. Yeah, I think that's honestly, I think that's one of the ultimate contradictions. People say, things are getting cheaper. Like food is cheaper compared to a long time ago, and all this stuff. But everything is cheaper. We have like deflation. Like it's it's easier to get everything except for the two most important things. So, children are more expensive than they've ever been in history, and also housing is more expensive than it's ever been in history. So the two things that are required for life, children and housing, are unreachably expensive. But other than that, everything's fine. For my YT views, for me, it feels like there's not enough correlation between effort and what videos actually correlate to 1,000 plus views. I have a more meme take on classic games audience. Yeah, it seems kind of random. My intuition is that it's it almost seems like obviously if YouTube made the feedback loop shorter, people would game the system, I think. So I think there's some kind of like it's almost like I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a random component attached to a video that artificially makes it like perform good or bad in a random way, and then over the long term it like learns, like, based on whether it's artificially suppressing it or pushing it out, then it kind of like intrinsically learns. Because I'll have a video that I put out and it's not getting a lot of views, like it just seems it's all right, and then like years later that video will start, like all of a sudden it'll just get tons and tons of, like it'll just, the graph go like vertical. And yeah, that's happened on a number of my videos. So it all seems like it's like learning in the background, and they do that on purpose to like prevent you from figuring it out. It might also be manual curation too. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like somebody who like, is kind of gatekeeping it to like to do manual review to like release it into the broader audience or something. II-46 sends 149 Singapore dollars and a unicorn. Excellent. Thank you very much. I'm pretty sure child labor alone will cost someone $20K a week. Yeah, it's child labor alone will cost someone $20K a week. I don't know. I mean, like carrying the child or like making a child work. I'm already doing a job, but I'm not earning that much. Can you suggest some side hustles or passive income ideas to help me make at least 50 or more every month online? What country do you live in? People tell me kids are damn near free, but the people without kids tell me they're expensive. Interesting. So people with kids tell you they're free. Free, only boomers say that. I mean, technically, like, there's a lot of social pressure to, like, you know, get your kid into like expensive sports and stuff like that. But if you're just like, you know, a chill parent and you like drop it at the system, you could just like, you know, feed your kid peanut butter and then just watch TV with them all day. And as long as they have some peanut butter and some bread and stuff to eat, they'll be fine. So weird in a way. Sometimes the graph drops after 1 day or 7 days for some videos. But then there's the months long slow background view types of videos. Yeah, I know what you mean. There's a few that just like, I was looking at one today. Well, actually one of the ones that kind of popped off a bit. Actually, it's my it's only got like 2,000 views. It's my guide to like regular expression character classes or something. Yeah, it's like a 5-year-old video. It's the one where I've got some boxing gloves on, and I think it's the first one of my series to intro on regular expressions. And I have this like clickbait thumbnail, and it has this kind of like obviously slow exponential graph of views, and then it just like started spiking up in the last 24 hours for some reason randomly. But it's like, oh, it's an exponential graph, but over a 5-year period. Plateaus, I guess, not drops. I mean, my childbirth. Oh yeah, going into. Yeah, I know. In the U.S., it's like, yeah, the 20K figure. That's about what I thought it was, or more important than that, depending on. My country is India, and working in a customer support job. I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I guess if you're on YouTube, you could try. If you know the YouTube content game, you could test that out a bit. It'd probably take a while. It would take you quite a while to get monetized and stuff before you'd make even $50. I think there's kind of like multiple categories. Even if you do YouTube, I think I made like in the first stage, like right after you get monetized, I made like less than $1 a day, like 20 cents a day, every day for like, it was almost like 2 years or something. And then something like happened, and like, I guess my videos actually started getting pushed out because I had enough content and momentum then. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. I mean, there's a ton of immigration from India to pretty much everywhere else in the world recently. So if there's some way to like make some contacts with people here in Canada or US or something like that, and provide some kind of service or something to do with the immigration pathway, I don't know. I'm kind of grasping at straws. But I know to make an extra, like, if you want to make $50 US in India, I don't know. You would know better than me. But all I could think of was try to, like, making an extra $50 a month here in North America. If you're physically here, it's probably not that difficult. But there might be some kind of, maybe even like translation or something. But I guess AI is kind of replacing that. There was someone actually who messaged me and asked about like doing language dubs or something to translate my videos into I think Hindi or something. And I almost thought like, yeah, that would maybe that could make sense, but I don't have time to pursue that, and I'd have to like upload a separate version, and it's not something I'll do at this point in time. But if you're to try and look for something new to capitalize on, you could look to provide some service, maybe to Western audiences, to cater to the new Indian demographic that is in North America. Fitbin, Amazon Mechanical Turk might be an option, if nothing else. Yeah, I've heard of that, but from what I understand, it seems to be. I think that's pretty. You get like 1 cent to do a job, and with AI now, I kind of wonder if that's even viable at all. Hey man, what are you raising funds for, Robert? You are a computer science type of guy. Yes. So this is a series I've been doing for the last 34 days. I'm kind of in between projects, so I've been working on. I'm doing a little bit of work on my block mining simulation game every day, just because I'm just kind of I had too many things going on to really start anything new, and so right now I'm just gonna keep collecting data, keep live streaming every day, once a day. Finish up all my background tasks. Yeah, I'm hoping to get it. There's like 1 mile. I want to get a few more features added, and then I'll do the next release, and then I'll maybe shift to some other focus. I guess I realized today I have to work on taxes, so I'll be during the day. I'm going to work on the shorts videos, taxes. And I guess the renoviction stuff, if I have to get back onto that. But I also had my N13 merits eviction hearing on the 26th, so that was another distraction. But now that it's over, I have a little bit more free time. You seem like a really cool guy. Good luck with your game. Gonna go now. See you later. Thanks for stopping by. Hanoi Roa says, what are you doing? I am currently working on building a terminal-based game that you can play on the Linux terminal. It's a game where you wander around and you spam the M key to mine blocks. I'm currently working on help menu improvements so you can interact with the user interface a bit better. Kevin Coolin says, what up, Rob? Oh, you're the dude who made that video about being a software dev. I love your immigration video. Thank you. I put a lot of time into that one. Hopefully somebody watches it and that leads to improvements on the immigration system for somebody. What do you mean by world domination? I mean taking over the world so we can fix all the problems. Every time you turn on the news, there's all these problems. But I figure if I could just get a bunch of money and then take over the world, I could just fix all those problems. Then we wouldn't have any anymore. Got it. What kind of problems, though? I think mostly the economy. If we can get the economy going good, then people can make money, buy houses and stuff, and survive, and people wouldn't be so angry and stuff. People really get thrown off by world domination. The video title. Yeah, it's I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It's a pretty cogent plan to me, but I guess other people need an introduction. How though? If you check my my most recent long form video, I talk about my plan to build a new society up on an uninhabited island in northern Canada. What's the biggest thing holding back the economy, you think? I think one really significant thing I've noticed is that's actually like kind of at the root of everything, is for some reason there have not been enough appointments of judges. Like for some reason, like it's a thing in the government that they're supposed to appoint judges, but the justice system just hasn't been keeping up, and there's a whole bunch of like things that lead to like death by 1,000 paper cuts, where like we have all these rules that run society, but the rules are being enforced inconsistently. Like one thing I found out recently, so in researching my eviction process and this like whole rent eviction thing, I have to like research previous cases to justify my claims, and there's this like online website that tracks decisions at the tenant board, and I didn't realize this until recently, but apparently only some cases are actually uploaded to this like public non-profit thing that actually discusses the cases. So what that means is the publicly accessible body of case law for what decisions are made is being filtered like based on, I don't know, some criteria. I have no idea what criteria they're using to choose whether the details of the case are published or not. And so that's like one example of, because then when lawyers in the future want to plead a case in the future, they're going to use existing case law. If they can't find the case law to know what happened, they can't cite it, and so that could potentially lead to the long-term thing could be if the tenant board so desired, they could shape the course of the law in a certain way over time by only releasing cases that favor certain types of outcomes, because then that's the only thing you would be able to build case law on, and then every single case would just like move more and more to that whatever extreme they wanted, even though the law could be interpreted different ways. And then in Canada, like we also have this like the whole the bail process and stuff. Like I see like 5 videos every single day of someone. It's like some guy was going around like hitting people with a hammer, and he's been arrested like 40 previous times for like random weird offenses and violence and stuff like that. And then they just like they let him out within 2 hours, and then they just keep like committing all the crimes, and that, I don't know, whatever system is making that happen needs to be fixed. This world domination thing's more effective than I thought. I'm a king now. Justice only exists for rich people, unfortunately. Yeah. I don't know. I think in some ways, I think even rich people could benefit if we just didn't waste so much time. Like so much time is wasted on things that don't benefit anyone. Like I could be super productive. Like my landlord probably hates the fact that I'm fighting this rent eviction case, and he'd like to have someone who would come in here and pay like the maximum rent. But if I didn't have to waste all my time fighting this eviction case, I put so much time and effort into this. If I had taken all that effort and I was able to invest that in the business, like if people just leave me alone and let me like get ahead of it, then I could make a whole bunch of money. Then I could just move out of this place, and then the whole economy would work better. We're getting to a point where like we're scraping the bottom of the barrel, so the amount of effort required to survive is increasing. So fewer and fewer resources are going toward like paying down debt or paying taxes or doing actually useful economic stuff, which even hurts rich people. Too much bureaucracy. That's maybe overgeneralizing it a bit, I think. In the US, if you're too poor to pay for bond, you spend time in jail until you get a hearing, but this could take months. I also hear a lot of cases, though, of even in the US, of just random like mentally unstable people. They just, they do something and let them out. Well, I guess that's more of a Canada thing, I think. But you could end up spending more time in jail awaiting trial than you would have if you were convicted. Yeah, I've heard of it, some stuff like that. And it's a kind of self-perpetuating system. If we could, there's a lot of people who probably don't need to end up in that situation, but if we didn't let people fall through the cracks so much, I mean, the education system is also another big problem. Manish Yadav says, "Hi brother, how are you? Not too bad. How are you doing?" Would you like to live in a nice van if you were evicted? With jacuzzi and all that? Probably not. I want to live on something that doesn't have wheels. What do you generally eat? My diet consists of I buy frozen pizzas sometimes when they go on sale. That's not my main diet though. Most of my daily food comes from, there's a place down on the main street here that has like pre-made meals. So today I had yesterday they did it's taco bowl Tuesday. You get there's like refried beans, chicken, beef, fajita mix, and a bunch of just like taco stuff. So whenever they do have that on Tuesday, I'll usually buy that. And that keeps me going for a couple of days. And they rotate through that. And then it's chicken and rice the next day. And we got a null pointer here somewhere. Frame ID should not be null. poutine. Is poutine overrated? Seems like loaded fries to me. What is the Canadian dish besides poutine? Honestly, there's not many places where I go that actually sell poutine. It's almost like a very special. Yeah, like if I thought about where can I buy poutine, there's probably somewhere around here that does, but I guess probably like at a bar or something, you could get in. I used to go to a ski resort when I was younger, and they had poutine there. I'd say poutine is I guess poutine kind of makes sense as a food if you're outdoors doing a lot of physical activity. It's like extremely rich, like the super often there'll be like a lot of heavy melted cheese on it, and I find it's kind of like the fries are they're also not really, they're not necessarily like eating pure sugar, but they're highly they have a high glycemic load factor, and then when you put the cheese and stuff on top of that, it's just it's like very 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 calorie overload. So if you've been outside working all day and you're freezing cold, coming in having warm poutine is like an appetizing thing. But I'd say if you're like sitting at a computer all the time, it's not really the type of food you would crave. Here in America, we crave calorie-dense foods, even the most sedentary of activities. Yeah, that's why it's like there's not a if you're trying to I don't know, if you're trying to build a lot of muscle, it's probably not like if you want to gain weight quickly, I think eating a lot of poutine every day would be a good way to achieve that. We eat like we have free healthcare. Yeah, it's kind of amazing how much of people's money goes to healthcare. Trump apparently drinks Coke every day. Diet Coke. Apparently, Warren Buffett also drinks a lot of Coke. He had an infamous Coke button in the White House. Yeah, I'd like to get back into embedded stuff, make some physical buttons to do some interactive digital stuff. There's a lot of interesting ideas you could come up with integrating like embedded systems topics into live streaming to make it good and interactive. I could do that if I ever get around to like doing the custom user interface integration, but that's still that's a long way away at this point. Reminds me of Idiocracy movie, where all drinking water is replaced by Brondo. There are people who do not drink water because it has no flavor. You need it to survive. is it not correctly writing the menu? The movie's now a documentary predicting the downfall of the US. I've never seen it. Oh, I know why that happens. It's because if the menu is smaller, it doesn't reset the outside areas. Bro, I'm new in this. What are you doing? I am currently writing a terminal-based video game where you simulate the process of mining blocks. It's designed to run in the Linux terminal. You spam the M key and move around to mine blocks of iron ore, and various metals. And right now I'm working on fixing the help menu. K and R formatted Java brilliance. Am I formatting it like K and R C? K and R C is the old style C, where you didn't even have to put int in front of stuff. You would just assume it's an int. How much did you finish this game? It's hard to answer that question. It's kind of playable. Gotta think of a way to fix so as you navigate around in the menu, if you go back to a menu that's smaller, the screen won't get updated in that area. That makes it look messed up. What do you think about CSE degree? Can I do it? I'm not sure. Do you believe in yourself? So CSE, that's computer science. I don't know what the E stands for. Yep, that's the issue. I finished my high school. Yes, CS degree. Engineering, probably. I guess it depends what school you go to, but computer software engineering. Well, I guess I would say the first thing I would think about is make sure you know the difference between software engineering, computer engineering. So computer science versus software engineering versus computer engineering, because those are very different degrees. And I guess when I was in high school, I didn't really know the difference, but they all have like computer or software in them, but the jobs, the course material and the jobs you'll have with those are radically different. All right, that might do what I want. What's your plan with the game? Just a hobby? I plan to attempt to derive revenue from it. If you watched some of my previous videos about consulting and my experiences doing that, I concluded that trying to build my own custom piece of software and build a business around that is, I always thought it was a kind of crazy idea that would be very difficult. But now I think it's less crazy and more realistic than actually trying to build a traditional like software consulting business, like what I was trying to do for years. So, so far I think there is kind of a strategy around it. It's more not necessarily about selling the game, but like producing like meta content. It's just social, like this live stream and stuff. Doing the live streaming, the development actually brings in a little bit of revenue. So it's also kind of an experiment. I've been doing it for, this is my day 34 of live streaming every day, and it's inconsistent. A few days don't bring it any revenue. A few days have brought in like over $100 per day. What degree do you have done? I have a software engineering degree from the University of Waterloo. Is in menu box 360. Is All right, that doesn't quite work. Nope, that's not doing what I want. Let's see, I greater than or equal to x offset. Didn't work. Can AI do this coding? People have asked me about AI a lot. I have messed around with it. I honestly haven't actually in practice tried using the latest cutting edge AI to code that much, but I find in a lot of cases the biggest issue right now with the AI coding stuff is it has poor integration. Like I've tried, there's an IntelliJ AI coding assistant, and when you ask it stuff, it'll like answer questions about like the wrong file. And if you look at like the reviews for the IntelliJ one, they're all like 1 star, and they're like, this is garbage and stuff. Now I did ask the other day. I tried asking Copilot on GitHub. So for the GitHub for this repo, I asked Copilot generate a class like this one for sending another type of message. And for that one, it did do exactly what I wanted. Although it was kind of just would have been faster for it was a faster way to do what was basically would have been a copy and paste job that I would have done manually. So it's like if there's like an obvious pattern, you can say like, give me something else like this pattern, which in itself is not quite coding. Now, if I have like a really hard to debug bug, you can kind of you can say like, oh, why does the screen turn dark? And like, why don't I see any output? It'd be like, it'll echo back like, oh, there could be many reasons why this happens, and then it'll maybe give you some instructions for like how to debug or test this or that, and be like, oh, maybe you have a deadlock. Test this and that and stuff. And in a lot of ways, like you can get AI to do stuff for you if you already know the answer. So if you like can craft the exact question, like if I already know that the problem is a deadlock, and say like, tell me how to rewrite this code to avoid this deadlock and this semaphore thing and stuff. But if you don't know anything about semaphores, then you say like, hey, I have a deadlock, and I'll just be like, oh, try this general advice that's kind of useless. Malicious Intent says, what's up, Rob? How's it going? AI is only good for repeating the past. That does seem to be where it's proficient. I do think there's I do foresee some places where I think you could use it. It could be extremely effective, but not really. I wouldn't even call it like for coding. I would call it for like compilers find warnings and stuff, or like code problems. Like I could, like right now, the project works fine, but I could probably ask the AI like find something in the program that's probably a bug, and then I could just like look at that, and it might actually be a bug, it might find some irregularity in the code pattern. Like I might have something like you have, terminal width, terminal height. It might recognize like if I have a piece of code somewhere that's like this, where I'm doing width, it's supposed to be width then height, but I actually put width twice. There's like bugs like that could be sitting around, and you don't catch it if it's a like square object or something, but then one day it triggers. So the large language model would probably be able to detect something like that. And so you could say like, is the AI coding for me by finding this? It's not really coding, but it has, knowledge of the patterns it code. So stuff like that, as opposed to like just grinding away at it, telling it to, output code that does this or that. After 4 or 5 years, it may become advanced. Yeah, I think if AI does actually completely replace programmers, that'll be kind of like, in my view, that'll actually kind of be at the end of, like that'll actually start to become the singularity within a few years. Like basically everything, we would have. If it can replace coders, and it can actually, sufficiently, if it can improve itself, then all the other forms of AI, like image generation and stuff, could just within a matter of minutes self-improve. And then you could you could get close to firing all knowledge workers, and of course then you could just have the AI churn away at building better robots and stuff. But I don't think certain tasks probably we will be able to automate. Like you could probably replace a lot of junior developers now. But the thing is, junior developers are not very useful. They're like an investment in the future. But even if you have, let's say we're going to have like an AI-powered robot uprising. Robots need to move around. A humanoid robot, needs electric motors. We don't have enough copper in the world that's mined out of the ground to build all the build all the motors for that robot armory. And even if you have the trucks, you have to build the rock mining trucks and stuff. It's going to take a long time. Even if the computer can churn away the stuff, there's physical limitations on the resource, like the power grids and then when it comes to chemical engineering stuff, knowledge of diseases and stuff. I think the AIs will run out of data. And to get really good at the to get the AI able to replace human programmers, we're going to need basically second order labels. I think we're going to need Microsoft is trying to force their developers to use AI for coding a lot. And I think we're going to need many, many years of data labels of seeing watching the script of a developer trying to use AI to write something. So that's going to be the second order layer of learning. But we don't have the data for that now. We need millions more conversations with an AI. It'll probably take years to produce that. My program's not working. I'm with you, Robert. I'm a lurker for a while, back in dev. I think someone might call it. With me, you mean my take on AI, or the world domination headline? I like your style. Just wanted to give feedback. I show your Linux vids to my buddy at work, who's a Linux nut too. Oh, thanks. Got some word of mouth distribution. What am I looking at right now? You are looking at the code for my terminal-based video game, where you can simulate the process of mining blocks by spamming the M key. All the best, brother. Have a good night. So my menu keeps getting stuck on the screen, even after I refresh it. Do you remember Johnny S. from the short circuit movies? Johnny 5. Short circuit movies. No, I'm not sure about that. No disassemble. Not sure what that's in reference to. I said something negative about AI last night, and YouTube blocked it. That's the what is it called? Rocco's basilisk kicking in there. You're already starting to get punished. It was the robot's catchphrase. He was turned sentient. Okay. I'm not sure. You're referencing what the short circuit movies that the other guy referenced? I don't. Not familiar with any of that. What's this world domination about? So if you watch my last long form video, I talked about building a brand new society up in an uninhabited island in the high Arctic in Canada. And I was thinking, why not just build a brand new society where we can build housing, we can fix all the problems. So I need to raise some money to build I need to raise $12 billion. If I can get a $12 billion super chat, then I can build a deep water port up north. turtle up. I'm not familiar with that phrase, but it sounds good. New Axel Heiberg. We will need an artificial sun. Yeah, there's it's pretty high up in the Arctic, so it's it takes it's total darkness in the winter. Game Dev Chat sends $12. Thank you very much. That's 2 nights in a row. You've been a very regular supporter. I hope you're rich. And assuming you're from your name, you said you're a game dev. If you're an indie game dev, you gotta watch your finances. And that's US dollars too. So we're at 18 Canadian. I like to have a sure thing. That's why I have a day job. Our game won a booth at GDC before it got cancelled. Then we won a booth at PIX and went, but didn't get a publisher. Okay, honestly, I don't actually know anything about the real game dev world. What exactly does that what does that get you to win a booth? I guess that just gives you like free advertising. I know there's a whole network of. I think there's like a tight knit community of indie game devs out there. Honestly, I don't even consider myself a game dev. I'm more of a, I don't know, amateur compiler, author, hobbyist operating system developer. For GDC, we would have been able to showcase for other devs and companies and PAX for getting publishers and visibility for games. To gamers. What game was it? Went to Boston for PAX. It was amazing. That's good that you got some. You got something going. That'd be pretty disappointing to having beat the odds and then getting canceled for COVID. That must be a bummer. gone to PAX in the past. PAX South was in Texas. Interesting. I don't even know what PAX stands for. Penny Arcade Expo. Yeah, I'll have to make a note to check that out after the stream. On the Among Us team, that's that famous game that everyone was playing a few years ago. That's more broken. I have to. I don't know if I'll get this bug fixed tonight, but my menu refreshing logic, menu screen refreshing logic is not working right. Seems like there was such a simple thing to fix, but my system is so complicated by now. Wish I had people to help, but don't know any Java. I basically know what's wrong, but it's one of those things where I think there's like a one-line thing that would fix it. There's probably like multiple ways to do it. Some of them are more insane than others. Some will build more technical debt than others. Actually, I may just call it a night there. Take a look at it tomorrow with fresh eyes. But otherwise, I'll probably call it a night. I'll take a look at your game, Penny Arcade Expo. What is your favorite dev environment? Zed? Vim is my favorite dev environment. Anyway, have a good night, guys.